Hey all, here are OS reviews. A few weeks back we checked out Anker's Liberty 2 Pros. These are pretty cool TWS wireless buds that offer nose drivers. They're dual driver buds that have a lot of customization, but they're on the pricier, more premium side of the spectrum, selling for around $150. Today we're taking a look at a more affordable option from the same company, still from Anker. These are the Liberty Air 2s, and these sell officially for $99, so technically $50 cheaper, but I've seen it go on sale for as low as $80, sometimes even a little bit lower. So we're talking about up to $70 to $80 cheaper, which is a sizable chunk if you want something that's more value oriented. At the same time, it retains a lot of the interesting features from the more premium version, including support for what they call Hear ID, which is their application that you can download for iOS and Android. It can create some custom EQ modes by doing a hearing test that will map out your blind zones for hearing and then try to compensate for that, personalized just for you. It also comes with up to 22 other preset EQ modes. What's also new here is you're using diamond enhanced drivers. It's actually the first time I've seen kind of diamond based drivers being used, but the claim is it will increase the frequency range up to 15%, making it wider. They have 4 microphones, which they claim will improve the audio quality for phone calls as well, and it will come with 28 hours of battery life when on the go. Otherwise, they do also come with Qualcomm's aptX chip, which supports low latency, and that is great if you're planning on using them to also watch some videos with. And they do support wireless charging as well, so you can pop this onto a Qi mat to quickly top it up. Also supports fast charging. 10 minutes of charging will provide up to 2 hours of audio, which is pretty impressive. The design here is a little closer to the Apple AirPods compared to the Liberty 2 Pros, which have more of an in-ear conventional style. Now underneath here we have the quick instruction manual. It says how do we sound, and then there's also a Type-C cable for charging if you don't want to use wireless charging. And finally there is a pretty impressive set of different sizes for the silicone tips to get a more custom fit. Taking a closer look, starting with the battery case, it's actually coated in a soft touch rubber material that makes it feel quite grippy and prevents fingerprints from getting attracted to it. Whenever you open the door, it automatically turns on, and you can see the battery status remaining out of 3 LEDs. So you can see it has the same design language across all of their current generation of products, that same soft touch rubber material. This one here definitely has a more compact case, so it's going to be easier to slide into pockets when you're on the go and traveling. The buds themselves are also quite nicely designed, with a slight red accent on the bottom for the microphones, giving a nice little extra touch. The top here features some additional microphones for ambient noise reduction, although they don't have active noise cancellation. Now the center here is actually touch sensitive, and it's very sensitive and actually quite easy to control and map using the companion app, which I'll show you guys here in a moment. And using the app, you can actually change this to do different actions. For example, you can use it to play and pause your music. You can use it to raise and lower the volume. Always nice to see. There are also some ambient sensors or proximity sensors built on in, and they will detect if you're actually wearing these or not, because just like the Apple AirPods, they have the functionality of automatically pausing the music whenever you pull these out of your ears, which is a nice little extra feature. But the design of the grill here, made out of metal, is the same as on their Liberty 2 Pros, so also quite consistent. They're also quite snug fitting as well. They have a nice little ergonomic twist to them, unlike the AirPods, which are more of an in-ear design. So you can pop these in and then twist them a little bit to get a more secure lock. Charging the buds is also quite easy. Simply drop them down. They will snap into place magnetically, and you can see by the LED status light here that they will start to charge up. So here it is. This is the Soundcore app, and we have our Liberty Air 2s found. Again, it's the same app that supports all of their devices, which is pretty convenient. Interface is the same as what we saw from last time. You're able to take a look at the battery percentage remaining on both the left and right sides. In addition, you can tap on the controller here to change what the taps correspond to. So for example, right now I have a double tap corresponding to play, pause, and skip tracks, and holding 2 seconds to activate the voice assistant. But if I want to change that, I can correspond it to something else, like changing the volume, for example. And here's the auto play and pause function, which works quite well. You can turn this on or off. Left side, the equalizer, is where the fun begins. The first one here is the Hear ID. That's the custom hearing test to create your own personalized EQ for your own hearing. There's also kind of a custom equalizer that you can create by pulling on these different kind of frequencies yourself. If you have more experience kind of tweaking that, you can go ahead. Other things include some more preset equalizers, which allows you to choose different options from Grammy producers that they've collaborated with. Personally, I think the Hear ID is just the one I usually just leave it on, but if you want to experiment, I think the default options are slightly easier to understand for most folks out there. You'll find a Soundcore signature, which is the company Anker's own kind of default sound signature. There's also a mode, EQ mode for acoustic music, bass boost, one which is a bass reducer, classical music, dance, electronic, flat, hip-hop, Latin, jazz, piano, lounge, pop, R&B, small speaker, treble booster, spoken word for audiobooks, rock, treble reducer, vocal booster, acoustic tracks. They can also be found. And again, these all do make a pretty good impact and difference on the sound depending on what you're listening to. And I think one of the areas where these do shine and add some additional value compared to the majority of other buds that you'll find, again, for around the price of $80, will be missing this level of granular EQ control. As far as more details about the kind of hardware side of things, the drivers themselves and the connection process, overall, again, sound quality is excellent. They are very good alternatives to more expensive TWS pairs, including options from, say, Apple, like the Apple AirPods. They actually, in my opinion, sound a little bit better just because you get a tighter seal, you get some more bass, although the bass is still not quite as strong or punchy as on the Liberty 2 Pros, which I still think have a slightly more dynamic sound just because of that dual driver. They have one driver dedicated for low frequency and one for high frequency. This one here is still doing a really good job though for a single driver setup. It sounds extremely clean. So if you pause the music, there is no signs of static or distortion. Everything just feels very precise as you're listening to instrumentals. It is crystal clear and kind of pierces through with all the details that you would want. Lots of textures and singers' voices can be detected. Latency is also quite low thanks to the Qualcomm aptX, so you can use these to watch some YouTube videos with. You can play and pause the music. The audio and the video do stay synced very well. The left and right sides also never got disconnected in my testing. I definitely think it's worth a closer look, especially if you're after something that has, again, a lot of customization using the same app as we saw from before, offers a very comfortable listening experience, low latency, wireless charging with the battery case, the support for autoplay and pause using the infrared sensors, waterproofing support, and very nice customization of all the controls, and also surprisingly crisp and very clean sound quality, especially if you listen to acoustic tracks and a lot of trebles. I think that's really where these diamond-coated drivers do shine quite a bit. So overall, I'd say a pretty good value, especially compared to some of their other options out there. You can check out more details if you are interested in the links down below, but for now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Anker Liberty Air 2 TWS wireless buds.